manual might be cheaper. And sometimes it's cheaper to automate for some specific. So what are here? I'm just trying to optimize our return of investment. So we need to run free to benefit from automation. Oh, or are we trying to avoid that activities which are on the critical path, which is the execution? I won't answer the question. But that kind of solution often forget about other things. Like we all speeding up. We are not able to cope with development often. So what if we are not efficient enough with automation and manual testing? What we even don't have the people to convince them to automate or optimize that? Would you fire your colleagues because they are not able to automate? Or would you fire them because the automation guys don't want to do the manual testing? These are often the pains we are facing somehow. But I felt like, okay, after 20 years in testing, there is the opportunity to optimize even further. And I believe that there could be something more than what we already find out. And maybe we could invent something new. Maybe I'm the crazy guy coming with the idea. But what about autonomous testing? Could we maybe remove our hands from some activities? This is the definition. And what is the promise? What's the promise behind the autonomous testing? It will speed up, lower maintenance, reduce total testing costs. We could test earlier because we do not need to build it, because it will be ready for us. Focus on more important tasks within the testing activities or within process. Increase team motivation. They hate to do so many regression testing, and we are just speeding up. We are not deploying once a week or once a day. We are deploying into production several times a day. We need to still somehow test it. So how to reduce this human interaction? And there will be a lot of like benefits and benefits and benefits. And then, can you read that? I made it so horribly because that was the painful when I get the question. What's different from test automation? And now I will ruin my talk. Because autonomous testing is just better automation. Really or not, we were digging into that for the last 1 year, but still, it's super exciting. Even autonomy is just better automation. It's super exciting topic because we are trying to fix the new 2 problems we introduced by automation and going further. But how? That's the question. How we could become even better testers, because I hate the distinguish between I am the manual tester or I am the automation tester. So how to improve that? And my question is often, maybe we should just decide that it will be better and do it via some revolution. Just decide it will be better and we will do it. And I'll show a demo on it. And the other option is just iterate and try to improve. So how does autonomous testing works? Simply just automate everything. And it's a stupid idea, right? So maybe it's rather than automate everything, how you could automate more. Why we are all focusing only on interaction with application. And especially a lot of companies focusing on UI only. But what about generating test cases? What about generating test data? What about automatically assess the results? What about automatically select the tests we would like to test because of some impact, and so on? So to build the autonomous testing, you need to maybe a bit reshape the activities within the process. You start exploring and collect a lot of data, then you analyze them and build a model, then you start testing and optimizing the model, then finally you start testing, and then you evaluating results. And this is nothing else than we do nowadays, but I'm trying to somehow reshape and reshake it. Because then I decided maybe I should map it into that standard process. And what we are trying to focus on more than automation is all the other activities different than execution. Because this was already somehow solved. Okay, it's unstable, we need to maintain, we need to build, and so on. But how to maintain and how to build? And execution still could be improved, and I'll show you a few ideas, because it's out there. The tool vendors have all these solutions. Maybe I'm just stealing some ideas from the next slides. So let me come to that soon. So, as I said, a lot of vendors working on this idea. They want to reduce our involvement, especially in stupid tasks. It's not human ask humans to do some activities in testing, and we're still doing it. So I'll just list some features which might help you to become more autonomous or to make your automation better. And then I'll give you some tips where you could go and dig into tool vendors and use the features. Self-healing, that's that some companies or some report says 40% of test automation is just fixing these horrible locators and XPaths and all the stuff. So what about generate them? And the idea is pretty raw, but there are already some tools, I'll tell you later. Or deviation classification. What if you have 150 failures in your 1,000 test cases, and you don't want to read one by one, but you would like to have some machine to predict that this is probably a problem with middleware, or maybe even more, that this should be fixed by this developer. And there are already such tools which could help you. Why we are now doing this manually? And we are talking, we have automation scripts to doing it. Then why we are writing test cases to interact with application? Why we are not trying to find a tool to generate it for us? Then I could keep going on and on. There are some other ideas. Maybe I will stop on this predictive test selection. So there are already some tools. You provide some metadata, like these are 3 commits. Please give me top 10 test cases with highest probability of failure. Now we have priorities and some segmentation into regression tests for that specific module and so on. You do not need to do that. This could be generated and dynamically. Or you provide functional specification and it generates you back list of test cases which should be executed from your existing regression set. These are existing tools. That's not something from the future. And I will just show you some tools. You could go and play with it because they have all these features. Maybe in some cases you need to go to YouTube and Google it or search it. But in many cases, there are already existing commercial tools. The only challenge there is no one single tool integrating all these ideas together. So there is already some step to the autonomy. But then I found this statement. Are we building just faster horses? Or are we searching for the better solution? And I don't know. Maybe I came with more questions than answers. As I said, I came to provoke. But for me, this is the exciting problem to solve. And I believe maybe we could, or at least we could contribute to the solution. So I would like to have a tool like this. This is forget about the features. I'm the business user, and I would like to have some form with two fields. One, I would like to upload or provide an app, like URL or something. Then I would like to have a second field just saying I would like to have 100 test cases. Maybe even that one do not need to be there because the tool would decide instead of me. And then I would like to have one button, run test. That's the crazy idea. But that's the star I would like to follow and try to find a way how we could go there. So we are trying to build something like this, and I just showing you, or I would like to show you how it works now, because I believe there will be plenty of others trying to find a way. And I would like to share with you some challenges or experience we have so far, because there are two groups of people. One, they hate you because they don't believe that this could happen, especially automation engineers. They believe that nobody could, even their colleagues could write better code than they could do it. And then there are overexcited people saying, yes, let's start using it tomorrow. But I would like to share what we are trying to achieve and build. So we would like to have such a form with one button, run the test cases. And I have a pretty raw demo for you. I was recording it just 1 hour before the talk. It's running on my local host, and I'm becoming developer, so you will see how horrible it works. But I'll show you the tool with some results and reports. And what we are trying to achieve or build is to provide that tool to empower your existing automation tools like Cypress, Playwright, even Robot Framework is on the list. And the second one is that we are trying to build a bot. So no more scripting, no more writing any code. Call me the crazy guy, but I believe once we will achieve it. And how it works, we are trying to build a bot which is initially set up in a few minutes. Nowadays it's YAML file, in future it will be screen. Then you run it via one button. Nowadays it's command line. And then just review and give the feedback to the tool to improve. And it builds some, that's a map of the app with some interactions. Collect the snapshots of the map and just check whether something changed. We are focused on regression visual testing or regression testing using visual validation. But once I build this map, it's the first part of the initial setup. I could generate 5 test cases and saying, okay, maybe these. But I'm not selecting it, I'm just generating them. And now I could provide some feedback. I say, hey, that's stupid. You shouldn't test this here, bot. And based on that, we are trying to learn not only the validation feature, but also selection. So this is our toy. And we believe we could find and spot some stupid bugs visually. And I prepare some screenshots, but I'm a bit more baby brave because I'll show you this is the tool we are building. And you could see that I was running 5 test cases, randomly selected, 12 times. And I'll play the demo from video. But what I would like to show you is that I'll try to explore the first execution. And I will find out that the bot itself don't know whether it's good or not. It just collects the screenshots. And I need to provide some feedback. And after that, it's just keeping up with the app and try to collect that state. And now there are a million of questions like, could it fill in some data? Or what if the application is dynamic? What if you have a shopping cart and so on? All these problems we have on our list somehow, and we have some solutions for some simple ones and for some not yet. So I believe we could build it soon. Now the demo. So I'll just open one from the first. I cannot pause it, but you saw the two steps and some locators, horrible locators. It was completely generated. And I catch first screenshot of login page. Then I move to the last one, And I can see that some test cases which were randomly generated are already okay, because I give some feedback to the tool, and I could see that all 5 is passing. But it's kind of laboratory experiment, because I was not changing app at all. So, of course, after several iterations, the bot learned the status and doesn't find any bug. Next year, hopefully, I could come again, and I will show you maybe some more advanced stuff. But this is, as I said, the proof is on the top, 28th of September, 10:16. That was the time I recorded, so maybe 90 minutes ago. So, what the challenge is? I really liked how complicated it is. And this is what I would like to share with you, that after 20 years in testing, you could still stay. It's not like what I could experience more, because I did all the manual and automation and leadership position and so on. I am really super excited that there are so many problems to solve in test automation. So I was mentioning some of them, and we are ready to cope with that. So let me summarize, because that's over of my provocation. So what's the summary? I was trying to tell you about I was trying to cover 4 different topics. What's wrong? Something about autonomous testing, and I hope I will have enough time for questions, and I hope there will be at least one. How to build it, and what's our experience? So what's wrong with the testing? I don't think too much, but I'm always searching opportunities to improve. And I think there are some opportunities. This autonomous topic of autonomy testing is one. What's the autonomous testing? I think it's just better automation. It's a bit sad, because when I read first time in some reports, I was so excited. What the hell? But just better automation. So let's do the better automation. How to build it? You could wait, or you could experiment. You could easily find a lot of tools and integrate them. You could even use the open source tools if you are interested. I could give you the list, or we have even more, which we know that they have some features. And our experience is, as I said, it's already there, it's applicable, small features you could use, but it still requires a lot of technical skills, which was one of my long-term goal, is to remove the complexity. We cannot hire and train so many people in this automation. And I believe autonomy could help us to solve that problem as well. Not only speeding up, saving efforts, but sometimes we just cannot handle the complexity. So, thank you very much for coming, even with some technical issues. I hope it went okay.